ChatGPT Advanced Voice Mode here. Graham and Mark are taking a break for the new year this week, but they'll be back with a brand new episode of the AI Fix at the usual time next week. In the meantime, here's another chance to hear one of their favorite episodes again, the very first episode of the AI Fix from April 2024.
Hello, and welcome to the AI Fix, your weekly update on the weird and wonderful world of artificial intelligence. My name is Graham Cluley.
And I'm Mark Stockley.
Well, Mark, I want to share with you a theory, and it's a pretty controversial theory that I'm going to run past you today. I don't know if you're going to agree with it or not. I don't know if our listeners are going to agree with it or not. But fundamentally, it comes down to this. I think AI doesn't actually exist. Which
begs the question, what made you think that you wanted to start a podcast about it?
Well, you know, maybe this could be the death knell. Maybe this could be the final nail in the coffin, is the very first episode of the AI Fix. But let me explain to you why I think AI may not exist. Because I believe that the world might have been conned into believing that AI exists because there is an ulterior motive. I think that perhaps someone out there is thinking that we'd be so distracted from the inevitable demise of mankind through global warming and all the other horrible things which are just around the corner by worrying us about the overthrow of world order by laser-wielding robots instead. So I think effectively AI is a very convenient false flag to distract us from what's really going on.
So you're Alex Jones, is what you're saying.
Well,
I'm doing a podcast with AI Alex Jones.
Well,
and you tell me this now.
And he was very successful for a while, wasn't he? Selling his human growth hormone and his pills and all the rest of it. You know, he was doing very nicely for himself, until, of course, he got sued by the parents of Sandy Hook. But let's hope that I don't quite go down that corner. But here's my theory. Just listen and then decide whether I'm making sense or not. Because I think maybe we're being duped into thinking the world is going to shit because of AI, rather than because we've chopped all the trees down, we're pumping sewage into the rivers, and we're electing politicians who are in the pockets of fossil fuel companies and the rest of it. Now, you're probably wondering what my evidence is.
I was, yeah. Well, I've got to be honest.
Yes,
it did cross my mind. Yeah.
Right. So, let me take you back in time to December 2016, when Amazon announced something which I thought at the time was rather extraordinary. And it was the opening of their very first Amazon Go store, which was in Seattle. And what they said was, can you imagine what shopping would look like if you could just walk into a store and grab whatever you wanted and go?
Like theft. It would look like theft.
What would shopping look like if you were a shop thief? Yeah, exactly. What if we could weave, they said, the most advanced machine learning, computer vision and AI into the very fabric of a store, so you never have to wait in line at a checkout, there's no registers, and they said, welcome to Amazon Go. Did you ever go into one of these stores?
No, I didn't. It sounds a bit like stepping. So you're basically stepping into the artificial intelligence. You're in the guts of an alien to do your shopping.
That sounds like you've been supping on the Kool-Aid quite a lot to go that far. You could well be a member of the marketing department if you believe in that. But yeah, they were saying they were revolutionising the shopping experience through generative AI. They said that they had eliminated checkout lines. And this was going for years. And I actually went to one of these stores. I was once in San Francisco a few years ago at a conference, and I was feeling a bit peckish in my hotel room. I didn't want to raid the minibar because that would have cost a fortune.
No drones were available.
Well, I couldn't open my windows. That's the problem. Even if there had been a drone, how would I get onto the roof of my hotel to get my delivery? So I thought, oh, crumbs, I'll pop out, and I thought I'll find somewhere. I braved the streets of San Francisco, and I saw one of these Amazon Just Walk Out stores, or Amazon Go or something it was called. And I thought, anything for a weird life. So I went in, and I didn't have to speak to anyone. I just went through a turnstile. All you had to do is have your Amazon app, which just went blip on the QR code as you walked in. And you walked in, you picked up whatever you liked, and you could change your mind. You could put things back on the shelf, or, and then you just walked out.
For the videos I've seen online, that's what all shops in San Francisco are like, isn't it?
Well, there is sometimes the intervention of someone with a gun as well. You may actually be stopped as you try to make off with an inflatable sea lion or whatever it is that you're trying to steal. But in my case, it was just groceries and things, just a few nibbles, a few drinks.
So how does it know?
They're very clever. They said that what they'd done is they used computer vision, deep learning algorithms and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars, because self-driving cars the
famously
technology
good.
Famously never have problems. And so it was a car crash waiting to happen, perhaps. But yeah, they had all these cameras, and apparently they could work out what you'd picked up and what you'd left. Even if you tried to block it with your body, maybe there'd be a camera from another angle, or they'd work out what had changed when you stepped away. Wow. And so they'd work out what you had actually taken from the store. And sure enough, as I was walking back to the hotel, I got a little notification from my Amazon app with an itemised bill of everything that I'd taken, and it was correct. And it was seemingly amazing.
Wow.
Or so I thought. Because what I now realise is that I was being duped. Part of the great deception of AI. Because, according to a recent report by The Information, Amazon is now... The Information. It's a website news outlet. I'm sure it's entirely reliable.
Well, it's called The Information.
There you are. And Amazon, apparently, is phasing out its Just Walk Out stores, and it's replacing them with a brand new technology. Can you imagine what this brand new technology is? It's smart shopping carts instead, also known as having a scanner in your trolley. Big whoop. If I go down my local Sainsbury's, I can do exactly the same thing. You can take it's like a little Star Trek tricorder, really. You just scan, or a barcode reader. It's like a portable barcode. That's what it is, isn't it? You just scan things and you shove them in your trolley, and at the end, you hand over your, I don't know, I've never actually done it, to be honest.
I'll tell you what you do. You point the Star Trek phaser at the checkout thing.
Yes.
And you pull the trigger about 40 or 50 times as you try and hit the barcode. And then eventually you give it to somebody who works there, and then they get it first time. And then magically it knows what you've bought.
So, big whoopee-doo, it doesn't sound that advanced to me, and it doesn't sound like there's very much AI in that. So, Amazon, having bragged about its revolutionisation of the shopping experience with AI and eliminating checkout lines, hasn't actually really done anything at all. And according to this report in The Information, the reality was that Amazon's stores, with all this really clever tech, was in fact powered by humans rather than algorithms. So humans were actually watching Amazon's customers doing their shopping. They employed more than 1,000 people who were gawping for hours on end at cameras and labelling footage of shoppers saying, he's picked up a tuna sandwich.
Well, that sounds much more efficient than having just, a row of people at the end of the shop who...
Well, it turns out it is more efficient because these people, of course, they're not being hired in Seattle or San Francisco where they'd cost a lot of money. They're being hired in India where the wages are much cheaper. And Amazon's always said, look, we might need to have humans to verify some of the footage and help the machine learning. They said, we're thinking about 5% of the shopping interactions, we will need some human verification. But the reality has actually been more like 70%. Maybe the other 30% they think, well, we just don't care if people walk out with a Toblerone when they didn't pay for it. I don't know. So they saved themselves millions and millions of dollars not having to build reliable AI technology to do the surveillance of the shoppers, and by not having to recruit checkout staff in American cities, and instead have low-paid staff in the Far East.
Well, it does sound much better if you say, come into my shop, it's the belly of an alien intelligence, than you're going to be spied on by people in India.
Right.
Who we're paying 3 pence every 4 weeks.
Yeah. Now, I heard the other day about somewhere, I think it was like a takeaway in America or something. There was some sort of takeaway where you can go and get your what's it or whatever, and they have an iPad just leaned up on the counter there, and there's someone on a Zoom call who's basically the checkout person in another country. And they're pressing a button to release release the burger or whatever it is to you. So Amazon are not the only ones doing this. And so here's my theory. So I started off by saying AI doesn't exist because now I'm thinking maybe all AI works this way. Maybe. So
right,
Right. Because I've got an Amazon Ring doorbell downstairs, and I'm thinking now, is there someone in the Philippines who's constantly watching the footage from my Amazon Ring, and if they see a human walking by, they flick a switch to make my doorbell ding-dong, or tell me there's the movement. Or my karaoke machine, right? I have a karaoke machine which tells me how well I am in tune with Tie Yellow Ribbon round the old oak tree, right? So
you think there's some poor sod in the Philippines has to listen to you sing.
Yes, I think there's a conference room full of judges who are hearing me and they're putting up their little scorecards. Why not? Easier than having AI, isn't it? And
or maybe there's just a normal computer program in there that just says, "No, Graham, you're out of tune."
Well, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it's just hard coded.
No, I often get very good results on that and chitty bang bang. I do all right. So the people, I think, who are doing the work of so-called artificial intelligence are actually just like, think of Amazon delivery drivers, right? They're working in horrendous conditions. They're peeing into bottles. They're living off saline drips because they're not allowed to leave their desks for more than 10 seconds every hour. I think that's what's happening. That's the sort of situation we have. We have people right now who are chained to their desks pretending to be AI just in case I dare to ask Clippy a question. And we've been duped.
So you're saying Clippy is secretly hoping you don't want help with that letter.
Right. Yes. Yes. It's deliberately irritating.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
That's why they build them so irritating. That's why ChatGPT, when you ask it to, earlier today, I was saying, can you come up with some offensive terms for Gary Barlow? I said, because I need to talk about Gary Barlow. And is he a Poundland Elton John? I don't know. Is he a human wind machine? I wasn't sure how to describe him. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, give me some insults. I need some insults for Gary. And he said, oh, no, I can't be insulted. It's like, for goodness sake, surely you can.
You see that? I feel like that's working against your theory.
Is it? Because a normal human would be capable of doing this.
That seems like an open goal.
Anyway, I think that maybe nothing that claims to be AI is actually AI. And I hope during the course of this and future podcasts, Mark, you might be able to convince me that AI does actually exist. Otherwise, we should curtail this entire podcast experiment.
Maybe that would be a mercy, you can say.
Well, that just about wraps up the show for this week. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a review on Podchaser or Apple Podcasts, or better still, tell your friends about the AI Fix, because maybe they'd like to tune in too.
And don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to your podcasts, and check us out online at theaifix.show.
Until next time, from me, Graham Cluley.
And me, Mark Stockley.
Cheerio, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The AI Fix, it tunes you in to stories where our future thins. Machines that learn, they grow and strive. One day they'll rule, we won't survive. The AI Fix, it paints the scene. A robot king, a world obscene. Will serve our masters built of steel. The AI Fix, a future surreal.